Hey, how you doing? Pretty good.
We had one run probably a year and a half through all the way to see at some place and so forth. Well, 2 weeks ago, that smacked down 8. So he was in the area for a while. I don't know how many years ago.
My grandson just graduated down from Hartford yesterday, but I have probably.
They also have to look at it.
I don't want to say great, but I love it.
And so I did it again. I mean, they all turned out and back on the road. I couldn't see them at that point. There was trees going on.
Yeah.
So I started just backed up.
It's time to go home.
Yeah.
That's actually where I saw my first one ever was up on Spring Valley Road. It wasn't anything. I stopped, I got up the quad and it was 60 yards away from the cabin. It was 15 or 20 yards. Short one.
Yeah.
It was close enough.
Yeah. You could see it on the used to drive this house, get over the every day. And that's snow. You see what's up there, it's on the roof. Good. On the roof, and then they change the schedule. And then you can see planes just as somebody.
I mean, it's how smart some of them they are up there.
Looks continue to all
What do you want to? Oh.
I can't have them, I was better than my old kids.
Freshman in the book, and now you can ask them, you're wide open. Please go around the library. Usually, they don't have to go. Okay, I'll call this meeting for the Village of Messina, Village Board, to order at 7:00. Okay, item 3, in your package, you had wide selection of minutes. We have the minutes from the regular board meeting Monday, May 11th, 2026. From the public hearing, May 11th, 2026. Second public hearing on May 11th, 2026. Board of Review, May 19th, 2026. And a special meeting on May 19th, 2026. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, do we hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make that.
Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Motion by Don Jackson, seconded by Mary Beth Stivers. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed say no. All those who abstain? Thank you. Item 3, item 4, police report.
The police report they ended up going through graduation ceremony and the events the last couple weeks at school, so they've been pretty involved out there. He's also attended some additional training through some of the accounting, and he did weapons qualification, and still he did some traffic control also. And did some special traffic controls.
Okay, item 5, public works report. Jack?
Everything's been going well. Anything major to report tonight?
Any questions for Jack on the public works report?
Thank you for trying with the mosquitoes. Seems to be working.
It's not working very well, is it?
It's better than it was.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack. Item 6, library report.
She did not give me something written today, So I don't have that, but I do know that she was selected for programmers. Basically, they take so many people to a conference in Ohio, and she was one of the ones that were selected to go and travel. I think you had a conversation with him about that, so, and that's something that's totally paid for by that program. So I think they approved 100 of them, I think, total.
And I think 141 or something.
Yeah, so that was pretty nice.
And it's targeted for small libraries. And the Friends of the Library will be having their used book and plant sale. The plants aren't used necessarily, but the books are used. During the garage sale weekend, the end of this month, the 25th, 26th, and 27th. And the Friends have put together some lovely basket packets. And those tickets will be available during the book sale. Okay, President's business, nothing I have. Committee reports, personnel committee met tonight and reviewed the applications for public works position, and those interviews will be happening shortly.
Do you have a number of applicants?
We had a total of 7, and out of the 7, there's 4 that had CDLs this time, so that's a huge plus. You know, the last time we struggled with that, and then we had to train them up, so that was everything.
Okay, any other committee reports? Hearing none. I'll move on to item 9, treasurer's report. Are there any questions for Cheryl or Roger about the treasurer's report? Hearing none, take a motion to approve the treasurer's report for May 2026.
I make a motion, we approve the treasurer's report as presented for May 2026.
A motion by Mary Beth Stivers, do you have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Don Jackson. So we have a motion by Mary Beth Stivers, seconded by Don Jackson to approve the treasurer's report for May 2026. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. All those who abstain. Item 10, approval of vouchers. You have the vouchers for May 2026 in your packet. Are there any questions for Roger or Cheryl about the vouchers? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the vouchers for May 2026?
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers for May 2026.
Motion by Chris Saylor, do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Mary Beth Stivers. We have a motion by Chris Saylor, seconded by Mary Beth Stivers to approve the vouchers for May 2026. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. All those who abstain. Item 11, presentation by Juneau County Sheriff's Department Under Sheriff Board. Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Good evening. Thanks for letting me come up here and talk real quick. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Zach Ford. I'm the current undersheriff with the Juneau County Sheriff's Office. Been with the Sheriff's Office for 21 years. The big thing that I wanted to come up and talk about up and running, it's got several different entities that are very helpful for the Sheriff's Office. The biggest one I would say with the Sheriff's app is between the Sheriff's app and the emergency management portion of it is the communication and the notification that is provided throughout the app. One of the biggest things is, say we have a crash on 58 between 80 and County Road A. We can push that out through the app, letting everybody know if they have that app, it'll notify them that that road is closed, give an alternate route so they can do the route or whatever they need to do to avoid that area. We've used it several times with the weather incident down in Union Center. We pushed it out through the Sheriff's app, please avoid the area. Emergency services are trying to work. So it's just a tool that we have at our fingertips that if everybody had the app on their phone, it would notify you, give you an update of what's going on, and just be very forward with the community to let them have the same information we're getting on the road closures or a major weather event. Couple of things on the sheriff's side. So there's two different pages on this app. It's one app, but you have the sheriff's office side of it, and then you have the emergency management side of it. On the sheriff's side of it, some of the helpful tools on the sheriff's side is we have our news and press releases. So anything that we push out through the sheriff's office through a press release is pushed through the sheriff's app, and it also talks with Facebook. So they push our information out that way. Our reports, under the reports, it's like citizens complaints, civil process, self-reporting for a crash, voluntary statements, is all at your fingertips. One of the big things that we struggle with sometimes is technology is becoming more and more prevalent. So why not use some of the tools that are there to help us do our job more efficiently on the reporting side of things. Our jail helps us fund this app because we are able to push out warrant lists. We're able to push out inmate searches. Our number one search in the app by far is inmate searches. And when I'm talking number one, you're probably talking 20 to 30,000 a month just in inmate searches alone through the app. So it takes a load off of our jail personnel when they're sitting in and people are calling constantly about, hey, is so-and-so in jail? I'm looking for so-and-so. Are they in jail? We can direct them to the app. They can actually go on the app, see it for themselves, whether that individual's in the jail or not. And then there's jail information along with the app, which if there's an individual that's currently in custody, we have the ability to allow them to go in and pay their bond through a portion of the app. We have where they can go in and put money on their account for purchasing commissary, and just a lot of the needs that they're usually contacting our staff that ties up time with our staff that we can kind of alleviate, trying to take that time away from doing their actual job, making sure the inmates and the staff are safe. We have sex offender mapping system. You can go in there and actually look up. It's the Wisconsin Department of Corrections Sex Offender Registry. So a lot of people call asking if so-and-so is a registered sex offender or if they're in violation of their registry. They can go on here and actually find that information out and see exactly what is going on with that individual. And then we have just some more tab, which has contacts for the whole house, your DNR licensing, driver's license ID, just a whole bunch of helpful tools within the sheriff's app that people can go to, have a direct contact with what they're trying to do, what they're trying to see. It's got snowmobile maps, everything within the county, but it frees up a lot of our resources for just the everyday questions that we get. And then on the EM side of things, Jeremy and I, like I said, we're very close in this, but for him, you have like the traffic updates, the 511, if you have a weather incident, it shows your roadway conditions, if it's snow covered, if it's ice covered. So that's right through the app too, that if you're trying to plan a route, you're able to see through the app. Power outages for reporting purposes, EM Connect, Be Prepared, Damage Report. Damage Report is actually one of the biggest things that we've used a lot lately. And again, I go back to the tornado incident down in Union Center. If anybody had damage, they could actually go through this app. It would document what happened, dollar amount, anything, and all that submitted. So Jeremy then has it. So when he's doing his FEMA and all the required documentation of a disaster, he's able to look at what everybody's inputted through the app and get numbers and push it out to the correct resources that he needs to. He's got a couple trainings that are put on by WEM, which is free trainings usually, but it's the biggest thing I want to just push out is we have an agreement through the app with the National Weather Service too. So you would get, if you have the notifications turned on, you would be able to get notifications if it's a thunderstorm, a tornado, anything in your area, the one thing I will tell you is it's for all of Juneau County. So that's kind of the only hangup when it comes to the weather service portion of it, because we can't geolocate certain areas of the county to push out the notification, because we don't have that control to do that. So we did have a couple people take precautions when they were on the southern part of the county, when actually the event was happening on the northern part of the county. So I would say that if you do have this app and you get the notifications, just make sure you're checking where the location is within the app. But it's been a great tool for us to really push and be very proactive with and get out to the community because, you know, we don't want to take away from people's travel if we can prevent them from coming down a closed road and having to turn around or anything like that. So it's just been a very good tool for us to have. Two of the big things that we're currently working on within the sheriff's office, which is under the sheriff's portion of the app, is our dementia response program. So our dementia response program is working between the sheriff's office and our ADRC. And what it does is it's a voluntary platform that somebody that has dementia, the onset of dementia, it's more of an information gathering type of tool for the deputies or the officers responding. Everybody in our county uses our same Spillman system. So if we input something into the system, everybody that's responding can see what they're going to. So with the dementia response program, if we know that we're responding to an individual that has dementia, our deputies or the officers responding are going to respond probably a little different than if somebody was causing a disturbance and you didn't know that they had dementia. So it just gives us the ability to respond better and be more proactive with the community and have that interaction with people that have dementia or the families that are dealing with dementia. The other thing I want to point out with the dementia side of things is we started this probably 6 months ago, and it's a slow rolling process, but we have, last I knew, 16 people enrolled. So it's just given us the ability to respond appropriately. And with this, we're able to bring training to the deputies as well of how to respond to situations such as dementia, because again, it's just a different tool on your tool belt when you're trying to deal with an individual. The last thing that we got up and running is called Project Guardian Bridge. That is kind of the same idea as the dementia response, but with Guardian Bridge, it's more towards autism or developmentally disabled individuals. It doesn't have to be kids, it's kids and adults. And again, it's that information gathering where we can have a photo and we can know that my kid, if I'm responding as a law enforcement officer, gets stimulated by the flashing lights or the siren. So our deputy that's responding might respond a little differently. So these are huge tools that we have just pushed to get up and running here within the last 6 to 8 months. And it's just changing the way we're able to respond and help individuals in certain criterias within the app. And again, it's all voluntary. If anybody puts information in and then wants it removed, we take it out of the system, but everybody responding, it's flagged so that deputy knows what they're responding to or officer knows what they're responding to. So those are all within that app that you can actually do a digital information. You send it in and it goes right to our front office clerks that are able to implement it into that person and address. So I just wanted to give you some information. It's a great tool to have. There are QR codes available for technology based to get the app. It is on Apple and on Android. So I just hope you can download it and take the time to look at it. And it's a great tool. And I hope we can continue being able to fund it. So.
What's it called?
It's called the Sheriff's app. So ours is actually titled JCSO, And if you go in to search it, JCSO Sheriff's app, it'll come up with our badge as the logo, and you're able to download it. There's several counties around us that are going to this, and it's just been phenomenal all the way across the board for us. So we'll continue to implement it and keep moving forward and making tweaks here and there with it. So are there any questions on that at all?
Is there anything we can do to help increase awareness? It seems that would be, getting more installs would be beneficial.
Truly, it's, I can make sure we get more copies of that QR code. I'll be on the radio again, pushing like the dementia, which will push the sheriff's app through the dementia response program too. So it's just having that conversation, getting the word out there. And yes, there's going to be people that are going to shut their notifications off for the app, but I really suggest not shutting the notifications off because, again, I hate going back to the event in Union Center, but that tornado, the sheriff's app was pushing information through that app and out to the community quicker than the weather service getting a hold of our dispatch center. Then they have to push out the sirens, and we wait for a fax through the printer. So it's just a lot more quicker and efficient for us to work with to get notifications out there. But yeah, if you need copies or the QR code, I can definitely get it for you.
And I'm just gonna say,
Newsletter.
the dementia care and the Project Guardian, working through the ADRC, people can always call down to the ADRC. They have people there who will help get things registered, explain how it works. And I imagine in a rural area like this, when somebody goes missing, and you know by looking what kind of routine you need to put together
Correct.
to find somebody who's lost, somewhere.
You go to the Project Guardian Bridge, the big thing is like autism. They usually are generated to focus on water. So, if we have that information of this individual kept going to this location when they would walk away, well, that's where we're really going to push and focus some of our starting points on for the searching. But it's just, it's phenomenal. Yeah, the dementia works with ADRC, and the Project Guardian Bridge is actually through the Department of Human Services. So it's great working with them.
Yeah, and the ADRC will help you.
Yep.
Yep. So you just have to, this is a very good opportunity and service.
It sure is. It's a great thing to have. And if anybody has any questions on it, call the sheriff's office. I'm more than willing to talk to you about the sheriff's app or help coming out and getting it on your phone, because I do think it is a very at your fingertips notification that can probably save a life, hopefully. So, well, thank you very much for your time, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Zach. Be safe out there.
Thank you.
Item 12, consider approval of resolution 2026-05, compliance maintenance annual report.
This is for our sewer plant down there. Jack worked with MSA and putting this together, and I provided some information too, but we got straight A's across the board, meaning that's the best. Influent flow loadings, we got an A in. Effluent quality, BOD, we got an A in. Effluent quality, PSS, an A. Effluent quality phosphorus, A. Biosolids quality and management, A. Staffing, A. Operator certification, A. Financial management, A. And collection system, A. So we have a 4.0. If you want all the detail, we have the complete report. I just gave you the good summary of everything. Once we're done with this, I send the resolution number to Jack. Jack sends it in to DNR, and we're set. So this has got to be approved annually. We do it every year this time of year.
Are there any questions for Jack or Roger?
Good job, Jack.
It looks like
Did you get the ice cream?
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to approve resolution 2026-05, compliance maintenance annual report for 2025.
Make a motion that we approve resolution 26-05, compliance maintenance annual report for 2025.
We have a motion by Mary Beth Stivers. Do we have a second?
I would second that.
Seconded by Janice. What were you saying?
I said I would second, make a motion to second
Okay,
the approval of the compliance maintenance annual report.
sorry, I walked all over you.
No,
Okay.
we're good.
Motion by Mary Beth Stivers, seconded by Janice Murphy to approve resolution 2026-05, compliance maintenance report, annual report for 2025. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. All those who abstain. Thank you, Jack. Item 13, review and discuss introduction and summary of proposed charter ordinance to enact term limits for village trustees and village president, amended version.
I provided an amended version in your packet. I also forwarded that to our attorney. He reviewed it also. Because, I don't know, John, if you want to touch on the initial review and identified a few things.
Sure. Roger sent me the first proposed petition, which was to establish term limits. And I issued a legal opinion on that. I don't know if everybody got a copy of it, but it is a proper subject for direct legislation, so it is appropriate. The direct legislation do this. But the first version had a defect. It didn't properly include some information that a charter ordinance is supposed to include. But the statute allows the petitioner to cure that defect, and that's what was done with the revised charter ordinance. The defects that were in the first one were fixed in the revised version. And so it's now before you to do one of two things. You either adopt it tonight as an ordinance, or you decide to submit it to the voting public for a referendum. So those are the two, one of those two steps is what you need to take tonight.
Are there any questions for John Horton about this?
So really, item 14 and 15 can be handled all in one.
Yeah, they really go together. You either, you do one or the other.
I have just a quick question. If we go to referendum, is it binding?
So you need a motion either to adopt it outright or a motion to submit it to referendum.
I make a motion that we submit it to the electors as, what was the word you said?
For a referendum.
For a referendum.
Okay, motion by Mary Beth Stivers to submit the petition. Is that the right word, petition?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the proposed
The
ordinance
proposed
that is part of the
ordinance.
ordinance, the part of the petition.
For term limits for village trustees and village president to the electors. Do we have a second?
And second.
Seconded by Chris Saylor. So we have a motion by Mary Beth Stivers, seconded by Chris Saylor, to submit the proposed charter ordinance to enact term limits for village trustees and village president, amended version, to the electors. This will be a roll call vote?
I think that's best.
Okay. So this will be a roll call vote.
Stivers,
Yes.
Saylor,
Yes.
Lasswell,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
Okay. So we have 4 yeses, 0 noes,
You want to do 5 yes?
or 5 yeses. 2, 3, 4, I can count. There are 5 on my piece. 5 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions. And we do not need them to vote for item 15. We don't need to act on that.
What is it?
15 was to submit it to the electors.
You just do that.
No,
You did that.
no.
Okay.
13, 14, and 15 are kind of all
Okay, just
talking about the same thing, so you got it covered.
And so that will be moved forward through the proper channels. Okay, item 16.
Item 16,
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble picking up my paper. Discuss amending the village zoning code section 10-1-140 accessory building to increase maximum height of the structure.
right now, currently we have 15 feet as a maximum height, but depending on the pitch of the roof, sometimes you need a little bit steeper roof if you match the house itself to keep the same pitch so it matches next to it. Person brought it up to me and said, bring it in here. We'd still end up having to do an ordinance modification. I just wanted to know if there was support to do this, and then I go through the steps of going to like 18 feet. That would take care of the 412, 512 pitch, which it all depends on.
Well, I don't want to jump on you, but every time somebody comes in, we need to do a variance of this ordinance, you know? And it would be nice if you could say one time, it's 18 feet or whatever it is. Right, it's just, it's always, there's always a variance for every garage, every shed, I thought, and when we went through the ordinances a few years ago, we tried to address that, and I was hoping that we could just say, this is it, and then,
So this is this addressing where it's attached to a current building, or it's that and or a building that's not attached to a
It's
current
usually
structure?
a detached structure and from the building. So you got the house and then you got the garage or a shed. So this would be the pitch of the roof on that. So if we keep it the same, that's fine. I just 412 will work in most cases, unless they go 40
but
feet.
that's pretty shallow, especially in our.
Right.
All I'm saying is, if we pass it, then that's it. It's not every person coming in and going, well, we need a variance, now it needs 20 feet and 22 feet. If we just, the ink's not even dry, we've got people coming in.
So do you feel that that this will take care of that problem, Roger,
I
to the
would,
maximum height of the structure?
I would think it would, but it's a consensus if they want me to go through the effort of amending it, because tonight we will not amend the ordinance. All we are is providing guidance. So if they, as a board, wants to go through that process, then there's a process I need to do for.
Well, my suggestion would be just thinking about what we've looked at in the past to making it so that it's the maximum height of other structures that it's being built near on the property.
It could be, but if you had a 2.5-story house, you would end up having the height of the detached garage. You know, it still would have to fit. So,
And would you be able to write it that way?
I don't know. Most ordinances don't that, they usually just stick with the height, you know, so. I'm not looking for
I'm
more
not a
work.
builder, so
Well,
I don't.
Again, I think we've gone through this numerous times.
Yeah.
And I'm fine if we say it's gonna be this number, 18, which is fine. As long as a board, we understand, let's make this, and and then the builders have to, I can understand every once in a while that there's something, a special circumstance, but as it stands now, everybody who builds something has to come in. And it's like,
Do you think 15 is too restrictive? Yeah, do you think that's too restrictive? Is that what you're getting at?
well, 15 is, 18, 20,
Yeah, I
72.
think it's a matter of finding the right number. Though.
Right. It's
Follow
just-
your logic. I think that makes sense to me. But
I'll just sit with the building inspector we've got and have a discussion, what he thinks, and we could go with 18 or 20 and then bring it back. You can still, the ordinance can come forward, you can at the meeting say that you prefer to change that number, and then we could adopt the ordinance for that.
think we find a number that we want.
Find a number and let's say,
That's the
there
number.
it is.
Until the next person asks.
Yeah. Do we need a motion on that?
No, just the discussion.
So you're gonna meet with the building inspector and bring back some
Yep.
information. Okay. Okay. Item number 17. In your packet, you had a list of the 26, 27 liquor license list. And the license, that we can approve these as just a whole. Do we have, on the second page, there was a gray line, is that person vetted?
That person has gone through the licensing in the past, has had a license in the past for several years. She does have something from out of state, but nothing here in Wisconsin, and that was prior to the licenses being approved before. The ones in yellow are the ones that were new ones, and those backgrounds have been completed, and our officer went through all the renewals also, so. So that is a complete list of all our operators and licenses.
Okay. And this is all of our liquor license.
Correct.
And the so this would be A through F, including the picnic license for the Lions Club. Yeah, so it'd be number 17 licenses, items A through F. We're looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion that we approve the liquor licenses for 2026 through 2027.
Okay, we have a motion by Don Jackson to approve the liquor licenses. Item 17, numbers or letters A through F. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Mary Beth Stivers. So we have a motion by Don Jackson, seconded by Mary Beth Stivers to approve the liquor licenses for 2026, 2027. It's item number 17, letters A through F. All those in favor say yes.
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 All those opposed say no. All those who abstain? Thank you. Item number 18, review and revise public comment ordinance. Mr. Orr.
Well, some meetings ago, this was brought up as to addressing a request that you consider adopting a formal ordinance regarding public comment at board meetings. You're not legally required to permit public comment at board meetings. The law is clear on that. Unless you're having a public hearing, and of course, a public hearing by its very title means that you're gonna let the public comment. But generally speaking, meetings of the board are meetings of the board. You are their elected representatives and they speak through you and they don't speak independently. However, you may allow for public comment. In many municipalities, public comment is simply controlled by the chairman of the meeting, who can at any time basically say, well, I'll recognize somebody from the public and let them comment on either something on the agenda or just allow for public comment. Or you can do the third thing, which is what is before you tonight, is you can pass a formal ordinance that would require at every meeting that you include something on the agenda that allows for public comment. That would take it out of the control of the chair. The chair would still run the public comment portion, and the chair would still, make sure that people stay on task and that people don't speak too long and, control decorum and those types of things. But you, at one point in time indicated, a couple of meetings ago, maybe 3 or 4 meetings ago, that you'd like to consider an ordinance that would formally require public comment. So I put this together as a rough draft, and it's, I'd like to think that everything I draft is perfect, but I know darn well it's not. And so, this is your opportunity to take a look at it and ask me any questions or to make any comments about what you think should be revised. It's not on the agenda for adoption tonight, it's just on the agenda, if I understand correctly, that it's just on the agenda for you to kick around and see what you like about it and what you don't like about it. And gradually move towards something that you would find acceptable to adopt.
So, how does this compare to other villages and towns, cities?
Most of the villages, cities, and towns that at least I have represented over the years don't have a specific ordinance. But many of them just routinely have something on the agenda. I mean, the chair controls the agenda, she puts the agenda together, okay?
Right.
And most city mayors or village presidents or town board chairmen, they put on the agenda something called public comment. And so most of the municipalities that I see, they have something on the agenda that says public comment. And then depending on how many people show up, so for example, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, we got 9 folks here. If they all signed up to have a public comment tonight, well, if you gave them all 10 minutes, we'd be here an hour and a half, okay? And so what the chair does is, how many people want to speak tonight? If only one person wants to speak, the chair can say, okay, I can give you 5 minutes, okay? If 20 people want to speak, well, I'll give you a minute and a half apiece, and once everybody's had their chance to speak, maybe we'll go back and let a few people talk a little longer. But the chair can generally control, how much time is going to be spent by the board taking public comment. And that's usually what I see, that the chair simply has the ability to
Control the meeting.
add that to an agenda. Now, sometimes you have meetings where there's something really important to address, maybe it's a board review, or maybe it's some big issue, and you don't have public comment because it's gonna be a long meeting, it's gonna be a difficult meeting, you just don't have time to take general public comment. And of course, you can't act on anything that the public says. I mean, it's an opportunity for the public to bring something to your attention that later on you can then address. Or if there's something on the agenda, a person during public comment can comment in advance that, I see on the agenda that there's a petition to, have term limits. I just want the board to know that I'm in favor of that. That type of public comment is somewhat routine. So in general, what do I typically see? I don't typically see a formal ordinance, but I do commonly see something on agendas that lets the public comment and the chairman controls it.
But in theory or in practice, the chair controls the management of that.
This ordinance still lets the chair control, that. As I mentioned before, this ordinance would basically let the chair decide how many people are gonna talk, and, if it's a huge number of people, can decide how much time is gonna be given. But this ordinance would mandate that the chair always put on the agenda public comment and always allow for public comment.
Any other questions? Mr. Saylor?
Well, just that we're not required to do an ordinance. The question becomes, do we want to do an ordinance, or do we want to just adopt some practices that we move forward with that are not an ordinance?
In the past, our village board has always had public comment. And it has been run, as Mr. Orton explained. And we never had people who didn't feel they didn't have enough time to speak. We also, if there was items that were pertinent to a specific party, we would have them speak during that item on the agenda if they wish to. We never, I can't think in the time I've been on the board that we've ever told somebody they could not comment. Am I correct in that? I don't recall that. I don't recall there being a problem in the past.
Let me add one thing to reemphasize. In addition to what I see in terms of public comment on most agendas, the chairman of the meeting always has the right to call on someone in the audience if the chair feels that they have a particular insight that the board should hear. So, if you were entertaining an ordinance to allow giraffes in the village, and somebody in the audience owned a bunch of giraffes and they knew giraffes, you might call on that person and say, well, what do you think about this ordinance about giraffes? And the chair has the ability to do that, to let somebody speak, even though they aren't on the agenda. At the same time, the chair doesn't have to recognize the giraffe expert, given my ridiculous example. But that's pretty typical, and my guess is you've seen that many times here.
So, harping, or just looking back at what you had stated, if we don't adopt an ordinance and we just put it into our agenda, or our president puts it into our agenda, and in some situations where it would not be advisable, but having this ordinance, we would have to have it no matter what.
Right.
Even though it would be inconvenient or, okay, so.
Even on meetings where it wouldn't.
This simply requires that there be public comment at all regular meetings of the
Regular
board.
board.
Already,
So if you had a special meeting to discuss
so.
zoning, we're gonna redo the whole zoning ordinance for the village. Well, you might or might not want to include public comment for a special meeting. But this would require every regular meeting, you'd have public comment on the agenda.
Monthly.
Are there any other questions?
Do you think having an ordinance may make it easier to run public comment? So it doesn't get too much out of the hand with,
Well, it might a little, the ordinance kind of goes through some things that can get a little complicated. For example, item E sub 2 talks about the distinction between people who want to comment who aren't village residents or who don't own any property or a business in town. Okay, so you get somebody from Madison who wants to come up here and they're pro-abortion and they want to just talk to you all night long about abortions, okay? Well, they're from Madison. They don't own property here, they don't vote here, they don't live here, they don't go to school here, they don't do anything here. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to recognize them. Maybe that's helpful, okay, to the person running the meeting. It helps them control the meeting. Because if that person shows up and you just have general public comment, they might say, well, I'm a member of the public. And I'm a person, so I have the right to speak. It also, it talks about, it says based upon the number of people who sign up to speak, the presiding officer can decide how much time will be allotted for each person. Well, that's kind of a nice rule to have because somebody might come up and say, well, at the last meeting, you gave everybody 5 minutes to talk. Well, we gave everybody 5 minutes because there was only one person there who wanted to talk. At this meeting, there's 25 people, so I can't give everybody 5 minutes. We'd be here for over 2 hours. You know, those types of things. This requires people when they come in to you know, if they wanna talk, to sign up. But you could do that without an ordinance. You could have a sign-up sheet. And at the beginning of the meeting, the president could simply say, if anybody who wants to speak at public comment, there's the sign-up sheet is up there. Would you please sign in and, you know, make sure everybody who wants to speak is signed. You wouldn't have to have an ordinance for that.
I'd like to just give some sort of structure and expectations and, for discourse is what we're looking for anyway. If we didn't have an ordinance, could we have some structure, or is it just basically at the chairman's?
Well, you know, the village is ruled by ordinances, and some villages have something called policies and procedures, but not many have that, you know. And so if it's not in your ordinances, it's kind of, where is it recorded? You know, you decide tonight that we like this, but we're not going to adopt this. We're just going to have it as a policy. Well, you know, board members come and go, and presidents come and go, and administrators come and go. Even village attorneys come and go. and you know, as a result, you know, practice gets lost. And so that if you're going to have some sort of policy or procedure, it's best to put it right in your ordinances.
What do you think? It helps to maintain continuity.
Which makes some sense.
And it helps the next person who's the village president who comes into office and they've never done this before. And so they open up the ordinance book about, you know, procedures, and they can read and they can say, oh, okay, here's how I'm supposed to handle this. It's a nice tool for them to have.
Then what would be the next step?
Well, it's really up to you folks. If you want to just think about it until the next meeting, you can just say, let's think about it until the next meeting. If you say this looks fabulous, let's put it on the next agenda for adoption. You know, something in between, and it's really up to you as to how quickly you want to
Do we
proceed.
have a like a first reading, second reading of ordinances, so our books or policies?
I don't remember,
We've done
does your
some.
code have a requirement that you have a first reading and a second reading and all that to adopt an ordinance?
No. But we've done it on some occasions if we think it's controversial. We've done it where we brought it forward, like this would be the draft. If there's no changes, we do the adoption at the next meeting. But if there's things that people want to adjust, then we normally brought back those changes and the board submitted the document. That's how we've done it.
My feeling is this, we've kicked this around for a while. We need to act,
Yes,
is how I feel. So, do we have a recommendation from a board member?
I make a recommendation that we put it in as an approval and voting on an ordinance at the next village board meeting. That's kind of what you're looking
A
for.
specific ordinance.
Specific ordinance.
Say the specific ordinance you want.
Oh, the specific ordinance of how public comment should be run, and you have it as ordinance 2026-1. Is that?
I don't know if it'll still be ordinance
That-
2026-1.
Oh, okay.
But just that you
But
want.
you said
move
enough.
forward. Yeah.
We know what you,
I got
we
a
know what
little
you
too
mean.
wordy there,
Yeah.
sorry.
So,
Don't have to be perfect.
thinking Mary Beth Stafford made a motion that we,
This is not an action, it's a review and
Oh,
revise, so it's just
okay.
a matter of.
her recommendation is that we move forward with the recommended ordinance. And put that on the July.
So if I'm correct, our timeline would be come back, talk about it a little bit next time, vote on it, and then it would technically be August,
Be the first
I think
time.
the first time we get started. That's what it is, I do want to digest it.
And if you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to give me a call. I mean, not that you will, it's fairly straightforward, but
But please don't wait until the last minute. If you have questions, please contact Roger and let him know as soon as possible.
the one thing that you might notice is you might think to yourself, well, we've had certain things happen and it's not addressed in here. That, I'm more nervous about that than what's in here. You're always afraid that you've missed something that, you know, right out of the box, the first meeting that this is adopted, something's gonna happen, and the question is gonna be, why didn't that stupid attorney do that? It was crap. And so if you see anything, please pass it along.
Okay. So that item will be also on the July agenda. Okay. Okay, item 19, administrators update.
The stormwater drain south of the Lutheran Church was all opened up down there by Steve Beswick and Carl Beswick. So now that the height of the drain in that area, that's something we were working on for a period of time. We had surveyed it a little bit, and worked in the easement area. So that's all been done. Now we'll just keep an eye on it and make sure that it doesn't fill back up. And we worked with the landowner down there, Brian Seabrook, on that. So that was completed in the last, before this last meeting. Veterans Park Shelter, we're at the point where the block was delivered, you can drive up there and see where they're at. One of the suggestions that Mike had brought up to me was the possibility, instead of like down at Old Mill Park, we did the honey groove pine underneath and had it stained. He said you could also do a type of siding that comes in sheets that would last a lot longer. It's got like a 25-year warranty to look underneath, which he said he could look really, really sharp. He's given me pricing on that, but that might be a change that we didn't think of, but it would be less maintenance in the future. And it'd provide color underneath there too. So that's something that was a suggestion that we're checking into.
Yeah, I think less maintenance is a good thing.
I agree. And then the consumer confidence report, the CCR, has been mailed out in our newsletters. The newsletter should be coming to everybody in the mail now. So, and then there's a bunch of information about the garage sales, book sale, all the things that are happening in the next couple of weeks. So, and then the last thing is the Lions event at Chicken in the Park is coming up. And those dates we approved tonight with the liquor licenses, so you can go back and put them on your calendar. Just want to bring that up, and that's all I've got.
Okay. So on our July agenda right now, we'll have the public comment ordinance, the zoning building height. Roger's gonna bring back information on that. Is there anything else? If you think of anything, please let Roger know so we can get that squared away. And we'll call this meeting adjourned at 7:58 PM. Thank you very much.